Hello everyone, my name is Alexis Martinez. Today I'll evaluate whether Rocket Lab should acquire Firefly Aerospace using the contemporary value chain framework. I'm approaching the decision as a supply chain manager, so my focus is not only financial. I'll examine how the acquisition would affect suppliers, manufacturing, technology, information systems, and customer value. I'll compare the two companies, identify possible synergies and risks, and outline how I would manage the integration. My conclusion is that the acquisition could strengthen Rocket Lab's long-term competitive advantage, provided it is implemented in a disciplined, phased way. Rocket Lab was founded in 2006 and has developed from a launch provider into an end-to-end space company. It operates through two main segments. Launch services includes Electron, which is already operational, and Neutron, the larger vehicle under development. Space systems designs and manufactures spacecrafts, flight software, reaction wheels, solar power systems, and other mission technologies. According to Emergent Market Atlas, Rocket Lab generated about $680 million in trailing 12-month revenue and had held roughly $1.38 billion in cash and cash equivalents. The financial position gives the company room to consider a major strategic investment. More important for this analysis is Lab's vertically integrated model. It keeps much of its design, manufacturing, software, and launch activity inside the organization. This gives it greater control over quality, reduces reliance on outside suppliers, improves flexibility, and supports faster innovation. Those strengths provide the foundation for evaluating whether Firefly would expand Rocket Lab's value chain rather than simply add more complexity. I chose the supply chain manager perspective because the contemporary supply chain is not just about moving material. It connects suppliers, procurement, manufacturing, technology, logistics, and customers. During an acquisition, my responsibility would be to preserve Rocket Lab's current strength while bringing Firefly into one coordinate operating system. The means reviewing supplier contracts, aligning procurement, coordinating production, managing logistics and risks, and integrating information systems. These decisions directly affect the four competitive dimensions from the course: cost, quality, flexibility, and response time. Lower costs mean little if quality or reliability falls. Greater capacity means little if systems cannot respond to customers. The acquisition creates value only if the combined supply chain performs better than the two separate companies. The contemporary value chain designs with the customer's needs and connects them to leadership strategy, cultural infrastructure, information management, budgeting, product development, supply chain management, and external resources. The key idea is that competitive advantage does not come from one department. It comes from coordination across the entire organization. Rocket Lab fits this model because engineering, software, manufacturing, launch operations, and customer support are already closely connected. From a supplier chain perspective, procurement, inventory, logistics, and supplier collaboration influence every stage. They affect what can be built, how reliably it can be delivered, and how quickly the company can respond. The ultimate product is not simply a rocket, it is a dependable mission solution. This framework therefore gives us a practical way to judge whether acquiring Firefly would improve customer value or create operational friction. Rocket Lab's SWOT analysis shows a strong company with meaningful execution risks. Its main strengths are vertical integration, a broad space system portfolio, strong customer relationships, and substantial financial flexibility. These advantages support quality control, innovation, and strategic expansion. Its weaknesses include continued operating losses, heavy research and development spending, dependence on successful launch schedules, and a complex network of specialized suppliers. Externally, the opportunities are significant. Rising demand for commercial launches, national security missions, satellite constellations, and lunar exploration. Firefly could help Rocket Lab enter more of those markets with a broader set of technologies. The threats are equally real, including aggressive competition, rapid technology change, regulatory delay, and supply chain distribution. Overall, Rocket Lab appears capable of pursuing an acquisition, but the deal should be judged by whether it strengthens the resilience and operational performance, not simply by whether it makes the company larger. Firefly Aerospace is headquartered in Cedar Park, Texas, and serves commercial, government, and defense customers. According to Emergent Market Atlas, it generated about $185 million in trailing 12 months revenue and employs just over 1,400 people. Firefly is smaller than Rocket Lab, but its strategic value comes from its capabilities. Its portfolio includes the Alpha launch vehicle, the Eclipse reusable launch system under development, and the Blue Ghost lunar lander, and the Elytra spacecraft platform. It also brings specialized engineering knowledge, manufacturing experience, supplier relationships, and government partnerships. From a supply chain management perspective, those assets matter because they could fill gaps in Rocket Lab's portfolio without replacing the capabilities Rocket Labs already performs well. Firefly's value chain begins with the needs of commercial, government, and defense customers. Leadership translates those needs into product priorities, while engineering develops Alpha, Eclipse, Blue Ghost, and Elytra. Behind those products is a network of specialized suppliers, precision manufacturing, quality assurance, launch logistics, and collaboration with organizations such as NASA and the Department of Defense. Those activities create customer value through reliable launch access, lunar mission capabilities, and end-to-end mission support. Firefly therefore follows many of the same value chain principles as Rocket Lab, even at a smaller scale. The similarity is important. It suggests the companies have compatible operating logic while their products and expertise remain different enough to create complementary value. Firefly's SWOT analysis explains both its appeal and its limitations. Its strengths include innovation, launch and lunar technologies, strong government relationships, and an agile engineering culture. Its weaknesses are a smaller revenue base, operating losses, a more limited manufacturing footprint, and lower launch cadence than larger competitors. The market offers strong opportunities in lunar exploration, defense spending, commercial satellites, and international launch services. However, Firefly also faces competition, regulatory delays, supply chain risks, and difficulty scaling specialized talent. I view it as a capable company constrained by size and resources. Rocket Lab could provide capital manufacturing scale and supply chain infrastructure. Firefly's SWOT analysis explains both its appeal and its limitation. Its strengths include innovative launch and lunar technologies, strong government relationships, and an agile engineering culture. Its weaknesses are a smaller revenue base, operating losses, a more limited manufacturing footprint, and lower launch cadence than larger competitors. The market offers strong opportunities in lunar exploration, defense spending, commercial satellites, and international launch services. However, Firefly also faces competition, regulatory delays, supply chain risks, and difficulty scaling specialized talents and production. I do not view Firefly as a weak company. I view it as a capable company constrained by size and resources. Rocket Lab could provide capital manufacturing scale and supply chain infrastructure, while Firefly could provide technologies and expertise then Rocket Lab would otherwise need time and money to develop. The central question is why Rocket Lab should acquire Firefly rather than simply compete with it. The answer is that their strengths are more complementary than duplicative. Rocket Lab contributes vertically integrated manufacturing, spacecraft systems, mission software, launch experience, and established supplier network. Firefly contributes lunar technology, reusable launch development, specialized engineering, and valuable government relationships. Combining them could broaden the product portfolio while reducing the time required to build those capabilities internally. It could also diversify the supplier base and increase purchasing leverage. Rocket Lab's procurement and production systems could support Firefly's programs, while Firefly suppliers and technical knowledge could strengthen the combined organization. There would still be overlap to manage, but the strategic logic is not about eliminating a rival. It is about connecting two value chains so that the combined company can offer more mission options, respond to more customer needs, and compete across launch, spacecraft, and lunar services. A merger succeeds only when its stakeholders remain aligned internally. Leaderships must set priorities, engineers must integrate technologies, employees need clarity about roles, and supply chain teams must coordinate suppliers, purchasing, production, and logistics. Externally, customers expect reliable missions without disruption. Suppliers need clear information about contracts and purchasing changes. Investors expect long-term value, while NASA, the Department of Defense, and the FAA require continued performance, safety, and compliance. As supply chain manager, I would treat communication as an operational control, not a courtesy. Early, consistent communication would reduce uncertainty, protect critical relationships, and keep the integration from interrupting production or customer commitments. The acquisition offers 5 major synergies. First, combined purchasing volume could improve negotiation power. lower selected procurement costs, and strengthen supplier relationships. Second, Rocket Lab's vertically integrated facilities and Firefly's specialized manufacturing expertise could increase capacity without unnecessarily duplicating every process. Third, shared research, mission software, spacecraft systems, and engineering knowledge could accelerate innovation and reduce redundant development. Fourth, the combined launch portfolio of Electron, Neutron, Alpha, and Eclipse would give customers more options across mission sizes and requirements. Blue Ghost and Elytra would also deepen lunar and spacecraft capabilities. Finally, combining relationships across NASA, the Department of Defense, and commercial markets could create additional contract opportunities. These synergies matter because they improve the entire value chain. Procurement becomes stronger, manufacturing more flexible, product development faster, and customer offerings broader. The value is not simply a bigger company, it is a company with more coordinated capabilities and a stronger path from consumer need to mission delivery. The risks are substantial and should be planned for from the beginning. The companies have different suppliers, processes, cultures, systems, and design structures. Poor integration could create delays, employee uncertainty, duplicate work, or lost critical knowledge. Suppliers may worry about contract changes, which could disrupt materials or lead times. Technology integration is another risk because engineering databases, inventory systems, production schedules, and ERP platforms must remain accurate during the transition. Customers will still expect mission reliability regardless of the merger. I would reduce these risks through a phased integration, clear ownership of decision, supplier communication, retention plans for key employees, and carefully testing before systems are consolidated. Critical programs should continue operating while integration occurs around them. In other words, the acquisition should not be treated as one large switch. It should be managed as a sequence of controlled change that protects quality, safety, and customer commitments. Information management is the connective tissue of the contemporary value chain. After the acquisition, one of more priorities would be a shared enterprise resource planning system, linking procurement, inventory, production, scheduling, finance, and manufacturing. The goal would not be to force an immediate technical conversion. It would be to create reliable, shared visibility and then migrate systems in stages. Integrated supply chain data would improve forecasting, track supplier performance, reduce excess inventory, and help managers respond faster to shortages or demand changes. Unified engineering and mission data would also help teams collaborate, reduce duplicate work, and speed product development. Technology does not replace sound management. It gives every function a common version of the truth, allowing better decisions across the value chain. As supply chain manager, I would begin with 5 actions. First, map both supplier networks to identify overlaps, single source risks, and critical components. I would consolidate only where it improves cost or reliability, while keeping multiple qualified suppliers for high-risk parts. Second, standardize suppliers' qualification, procurement policies, and contract management so both companies use consistent control. Third, create cross-functional integration teams with engineering, manufacturing, finance, information technology, and supply chain representatives. Fourth, use supplier scorecards to measure quality, delivery, responsiveness, cost, and reliability. Fifth, integrate demand forecasting so procurement, production, and logistics plan from the same data. I would also sequence these actions around active missions to protect continuity. This approach turns the acquisition strategy into measurable operating work. It improves resilience, creates accountability, and ensures that decisions in one function do not create problems somewhere else in the value chain. In the future state value chain, Rocket Lab and Firefly would operate as one connected organization. Customers' needs would guide a shared leadership team and integrated product development. Rocket Lab's launch and spacecraft system would combine with Firefly's reusable launch and lunar capabilities. Procurement and manufacturing would use a broader supplier network, shared forecast, and coordinated production planning. Customers would gain access to Electron, Neutron, Alpha, Eclipse, Blue Ghost, Elytra, spacecraft systems, mission operations, and support through one organization. The benefit is not simply more products. It is greater flexibility in matching customers with the right mission solution. A successful integration would also improve purchasing leverage, supplier diversification, inventory visibility, innovation, and response time. That is the future state this acquisition should be designed to achieve. Based on this analysis, I recommend that Rocket Lab move forward with the acquisition of Firefly Aerospace, subject to disciplined due diligence and a phased integration plan. Rocket Lab provides financial resources, vertical integration, manufacturing scale, and a mature supplier network. Firefly adds launch, lunar, and spacecraft technology, specialized expertise, and government relationships. Together, they could strengthen products development, information management, supply chain performance, and customer value. The risks are real, especially around systems, suppliers, employees, and mission continuity, but they are manageable with clear governance and staged execution. I would therefore approve the acquisition and begin a 12-month integration focused on operational continuity, supply chain optimization, technology harmonization, and cross-functional collaboration. To conclude, this analysis began with rockets, but the larger issue is how organization creates value. The contemporary value chain shows the competitive advantage from the coordination across leadership, people, technologies, suppliers, operation, and customers. From a supply chain management perspective, the purpose acquisition can create the coordination by combining Firefly's innovation with Rocket Lab's scale and integration. Success will depend not only on choosing the right target, but on protecting mission performance. While the companies come together, managed carefully, the acquisition could make Rocket Lab not only larger, but more capable, resilient, and responsive. For my executive recommendation, it would be to approve the acquisition of Firefly Aerospace and begin a phased 12-month integration strategy focused on supply chain optimization, technology harmonization, and operational excellence. Again, thank you, and I welcome any questions.